So here is day 47 with Eton, and this will be his first time attempting to come out of the stall. And pretty typical, once they are comfortable in their stalls, they really don't want to leave. So safety wise, I have my barn closed up. That's kind of the nice thing about it. And so he can't leave the barn area, so we're safe that way. And right now I'm just working on a little bit of pressure and release on the halter to see if I can get him to step forward. And then I'm able to get him to step over that threshold, which was a big deal, so he got a reward for that. Kind of letting him be in this space a little bit. And then asking him to step forward again, a little different because I did have two other people there. One person was filming. So sometimes it's just me, which can be a little bit easier, but it's always good for them to figure it out. So he's starting to come up off of the pressure of the halter, which is really good. So now that I've got him outside of the stall, I'm going to give him a reward. And then give him a minute. He's pretty nervous. So I give him another reward. Give him a little bit of a rub. And I'm working on getting him down the hallway to the wash rack. And he's a pretty claustrophobic horse. And so walking past the truck was a little bit of a difficulty for him. So I went ahead and put the rope around his butt. He tends to like this. It's a little bit of a security blanket for him, which is whatever works. Every horse is different, but he seems to respond to this pretty well, almost more so than pressure and release from the halter. So he's a little worried right here because I have two of my students are to the right of me, but he does actually come on and had a little bit of a forward moving moment, but he actually did a good job to respect my space. And so now that we're to the wash rack, I'm going to give him a second, and you can see he's mainly pretty worried about the other humans. So now my rope's just around the 1 foot. So now I have to use a little pressure and release off of the halter. And give him a rub to reassure him. Try to get him to focus on coming this way. And I go from side to side just to help unlock the feet a little bit. And then give him another rub. See if I can get him to step off the rope, which he does a really good job of stepping on. If I just stay patient, then I'm able to get my rope back. And gives me a good lick and chew, so he's trying to think his way through, which is this is a big step for him. So I just give him a second here. Now I work on getting the rope back around his hind end, kind of like his training wheels. I hold the pressure a little bit longer there to see if I can get him to step a little bit further in. Then when he drops his head, I give a release off the pressure. And then again, kind of side to side. So he's kind of checking out the grooming box, so I figured I'd push that. It's a little too close, causing him a little bit too much anxiety there. Back to the pressure and release. and that was actually really good. Sometimes when they walk in for the first time, they kind of do a little bit of Fred Flintstone and spin around and try to run back out, but he's actually was pretty happy to be in three-sided walls. So he could see danger only coming from one side. So I give him a minute here. And we get our lick and chew. So I'm going to introduce him to the sound of the fan. Seems to handle that fine. This fan in the wash rack's pretty loud. Like, turn the light on. Sometimes that can spook them. You just never know. Then introducing him to the cross ties. So he has been tied in his paddock, but he hasn't had cross ties, so this will be his first time. So I like to put one on at a time. And my cross ties are Velcro, so if anything was to happen, they would break, and he surely is strong enough to break them. But he doesn't seem too concerned about it, so I have my one student give me some more cookies and make it really positive. Now going to add the additional right side. He takes a little bit of a look at it. So right now I'm going to heavily reward him. He seems to be handling it pretty well. Working on the right side. Going back and under the cross ties, like to give him a little bit of preparation. Seems to handle that pretty well. Sometimes I have to break some of the treats in half so I can make it stretch a little further. Going and giving him a rub on the left side. I'm really happy with how he is handling this. He's doing a really good job. Again, working on that right side. And then working on when he does his big mouth, I like to make him wait to where he takes it kind of politely. Sometimes when he's just a little stuck in tension, he won't bring his head down for a cookie. He's too kind of worried for that, but he's getting there. And just working on going back and forth from each side, giving him a reward. And now I'm going to take the cross ties off, making sure I just don't drop them. Sometimes that can spook them, just the sound of the cross ties hitting the wall. But he doesn't seem to mind. So now I'm going to have the two students move because so they're in front of him and not behind him. So they're going to walk all the way down past his stall. So now I have to get him out of the wash rack back to his stall. Give him a little bit of reward of hay since I'm at the hay wheelbarrow. And I'm just trying again just with the pressure and release on the halter. Just playing around with that. And just giving him the time that he needs if he wants to kind of stand there. I'm going to go back to seeing if I can get those feet to move a little bit, one step at a time. For him to help inspire the curiosity has been a little bit difficult because, again, his first reaction to everything is just to run. But oftentimes when I do this with my Mustangs, having the other horses in the barn and having the muck truck with manure there, kind of all those smells can help them understand that it's okay. And of course we've got Y, who is watching intently. Got a couple more steps. Rewarded him for at least considering that that was there. He was a very good boy. And this is kind of a big step because then I can take them in and out and put them in the cross ties and start grooming them, and so their stalls can get, it just helps in the handling aspect. I found I really like this, and they tend to respond to it as well. And it's, for the most part, even though it's a little warm, with it being summertime in Georgia and I have to close the doors in the barn, all things considered, it's a decent space to work in. So now working on getting him back in his stall. So he's hesitant because he can see, again, he's having to deal with humans back kind of behind him in that eyesight. So he does tend to like his stall. So I'm at the threshold right now. Give him a couple more seconds and some more reward. And he's giving me baby steps, but they're still steps forward. There, he dropped his neck. That was nice. And he stepped in very nice and politely. I was actually very pleased with how his first little session went outside of his stall. Gave him a reward and a nice rub, and working on for the next time.